The Human Torch was denied a bank loan. Oh my god. Oh my god. My voice is so ruined. What up, 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 what up. It's a song. Did we hit 100%? Oh my god, we hit 100%. Nope. Now we're under 100%. Oh, now we're at 100%. Hashtag first class. Who's ready to start the show? I'm ready. I'm ready to start the show. My voice sounds like I was run over by a car. Oh, Friday, August 27th. 2021erd. What up, everybody? What's going on out there in the internet world? What are you doing? What is happening with you? Why are you not telling me about it in the live chat? Tell me about it in the live chat. How's everybody doing today? It is a lovely, lovely Friday. Finally, today I can say that I've specifically been experiencing a day of cool weather. This is like this feels like the first day in a million years where it has been just chilling outside. You know what I mean? Where you're like, maybe I should put on a jacket. I'm not going to because I want to feel the frost of 68 whatever degrees it is outside right now. Because I've been in this never-ending, what feels like a never-ending cycle of hot weather. If you guys recall, out here in the Pacific Northwest where I live, there was a, air quote, heat dome earlier this year. Crazy hot weather. Then we went to Peru. Crazy hot weather. Get home. It's just hot. There's forest fires all over the place. It's smoky. Just a little nuts, and you know what? It sprinkled a little bit last night, and it cooled down here for a little while, and it'll be warm again this weekend, starting tomorrow. So we have one day of just kind of chill, maybe sort of fall-esque. Is that a word? Fall-esque? Who cares? We've invented it. Fall, autumntasia weather, you know? So, not all that bad. As you guys can tell, my voice is still crazy. I don't know why. Something weird is going on with my throat. I do not feel sick. My throat just feels scratchy. It was going on Monday, and my throat hurt on Monday. That has gone away. For whatever reason, I still have this weird phlegmy throat thing going on. I don't know what it is. To be honest with you, I don't know what's happening. My lymph nodes feel fine. Lymph nodes not swollen. No fever. No, like a mild once in a blue moon cough because there's this weird phlegm thing going on. I don't know. I'm not sick, but I have this weird throat thing going on. I don't know what's happening. I don't have COVID. I've been tested for COVID like 40 times I'm exaggerating, 4 times in the last 2 weeks or something like that. Don't have COVID, so that's all good. As you guys know, Friday's show is normally having our good friend Alyssa Bentley here, who is in the chat, who is currently says she's working on an art. She's normally here on Fridays, but just as a precautionary measure, if I have some kind of cold or something like that, I don't want to give it to her because, hey, I may not have COVID, but there are still all the other viruses going around. So we'll just wait until next week. It's not a big deal. It might be a big deal to you guys, and I understand that. I understand that you look forward to it, and I look forward to having the co-host here. And but just as a preventative measure, it's like, hey, let's just wait a week, and hopefully this weird little throat thing I got going on here will be gone, and we'll be like, hey, everything's fine, and it'll be good to go. So don't really know what's up with my voice. If it just goes out, I'll have to end the show, and yeah, that just will be a thing that will happen if that happens. But for now, we're fine, and I'll just every once in a while go, what is that? What's that weird phlegm I got going on? You know what I mean? So hopefully I don't blow out your ears and accidentally yell right into the microphone. But if you're somebody who likes co-hosts and you like the show and you want this channel to grow and you want things to continue to happen, be like regular guy underscore guy 1, who has become a new member today. Our goal is to reach 1,000 members. Unfortunately, we lost 2, so we were down to 81. But with regular underscore guy 1, we are now to 82 members. And if you become a member, what does that mean? It means that your name is highlighted in the chat. I know that not all YouTube chat is updated now, but I have noticed that some of the channels' chat is updating so that your names are green and you're highlighted and people know, like, what's up, that you're a member, that you're being contributing member to the channel, right? So you get highlighted in the chat. You get much better response to your questions and things like that if you comment on other videos and things, because they get promoted to me. They get forwarded through to me. Whereas like a lot of comments that are on my channel don't necessarily get forwarded to me. They sort of just fall into this, like, the ether. They just kind of fall out there, and then you're like, hey, can I get to those? I don't know. I gotta swim through like a marsh full of weeds to get over to those comments. And I'll be honest with you, I don't normally expel that kind of energy these days, to be honest with you. I've been on the YouTubes here for well over a decade, and it just becomes tiresome swimming through those weeds. So, hey, member comments get pushed up to the top, and I just like to answer those, because what's up? Those are people contributing, being a part of the community. Now, if you do become a member or a patron on Patreon, you get access to our Discord chat, which is a 24/7 community chat that you will be able to log into, because you'll have the digits. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll have the info to log in once you become a member and whatnot. If you become a member on YouTube, just go over to the community tab, scroll down, and you'll find the post about Discord. You can click on the link, boom, it'll send you over there. Verify your email address, and it's all good, baby. Then 24 hours a day, you can be posting about all sorts of stuff that's going on in your life, and you'll hear from our community of, like, I don't know how many are here. A couple hundred people. I don't know. There's a couple hundred people in the community, but it's all good, right? Anyhow, there's other perks and benefits, but yeah, that just gives you the quick breakdown. You know what I mean? Jared says, I stink at being a part of the community. Hey, everybody does their little bit being a part of the community, and it's all good. Ain't nobody mad. Chivers said something that I was going to read, but then it was retracted for some reason, and then now I can't. Oh, hold on. I know a way to do this. Oh, here we go. Mohawk or it didn't happen. I'm not 100% sure. The Mohawk or it didn't happen. I mean, a lot of you that have been around for a long time know that I spent many, many years rocking a Mohawk. That's pretty much what I pretty much always was doing. And now I just have a haircut because a lot of my time is spent these days doing independent jobs for people. And if you show up with a big Mohawk, like people get like all weirded out and they're like, I don't know, should I give this guy money? You know, and you're like, okay, yeah. And then you have to wear a hat. And I don't want to wear a hat all the time because I don't. Because I just don't want to wear a hat all the time. Is that too personal? Maybe. Maybe it's too personal. I don't know. Maybe it's too personal for you guys to know. But since we updated... okay. We're good to go. I've almost updated the Patreon number, and the Patreon number is updated. So we're good there. Anyhow, I clicked the button here, and the whole thing went crazy. But speaking of our community and the Discord chat... Michael Sarr was asking some questions about he was asking some questions about catching shrimp. Michael has some big 330-gallon totes that he's got outside with fish and shrimp and all these like really cool projects that he posts about on the Discord. And he recently he's got some bladderwort in one of those tanks, which is unfortunate because it's a big pain in the buns. Oh, Wesley says, don't forget the Minecraft server. That's right. If you're a member, you can get access to our Minecraft server, which is it's early access. It's early access to our Minecraft server, which has gone on for a long time. We're waiting for the new update to open it to the public, and they decided to only do a very minor update. Oh my God, can I create a poll? Oh my God, I can create a poll in the chat. Check this out. Cheese, it's, or goldfish. Oh my God, we can create a poll. Oh, is it yes or no? It's only a yes or no poll. Okay, Cheez-Its. Yes or no. Oh my God, check this out. Ask my community. We can do polls. We can do polls on YouTube now. Where did the poll go? I asked it to the community. Oh, it just disappeared. I created a poll and it just disappeared. Oh, there it is. Oh, my God. Here we go. Yes or no? 50%. Oh, my God. We're at 50%. We're 50-50. 50-50. 50-50 on the poll. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, guys. We can do polls on the YouTube now. On the live chat. This is a whole new... Oh, my God. This is a whole new world has just opened up to us during the show. I guess I didn't get this memo that this thing was being added to the live stream chat. Awesome. Anyhow, Michael Sarr has a whole bunch of totes. He recently got bladderwort infection in one of them, which is kind of a big pain to rectify. Bladderwort just kind of grows like crazy. Think duckweed, right? If you've never experienced the bladderwort getting loose in your tank, think duckweed. And the reality is bladderwort's a little more difficult to treat for because it sort of just gets all around, whereas duckweed's at the top. And you could just scoop most of the duckweed out and add some flow to the top of your tank, and you can kill off duckweed pretty easy. You know what I mean? Very, very easily. And but bladderwort has a tendency to just get all over the place. So one of the best ways to do it is, unfortunately, just do some herbicide treatment to get rid of it. But in the meantime, you definitely do want to get all the critters out of there before you have to do anything like that. Big pain, but we need to talk about some resolution for the actual question which was asked. He's got a bunch of shrimp in there, wants to get the shrimp out. And in the past, I've definitely talked about taking a 2-liter bottle, cutting the top off, flipping it around, putting food in there, and putting it in the tank. Yes. Does that work? Sure. It works fairly well, but I will say this. I was never really satisfied with how well you were able to get the 2-liter back out of the tank, keep the shrimp in there, then get the shrimp out of the 2-liter. It just turns into this whole wacky, zany thing. Plus, I never have 2 liters around. I don't drink cola. I don't like pop. I don't drink Gatorade. I don't know. I don't drink any of this stuff. I drink ice water and coffee generally are the two things that I drink, and they don't come in a 2-liter. You know what I mean? So I never have one around, and then it's like, should I go to the store and buy some 2-liters and just dump them out or something? I don't know. That seems like a big waste, right? Plus, I don't want to endorse that end of the plastic. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to endorse, like, Coca-Cola making more plastic containers, right? It's one thing to be out, like, in Peru or something and have to drink bottled water the whole time you're there and then realizing how wasteful that is. But I'm at home. I can make a better decision. So, one of the things that I have implemented, and I added it into the chat earlier, and as a reminder to people, I am an Amazon affiliate, so if you go through the Amazon link, you go buy stuff, I get a commission. It doesn't matter what you buy as long as you go through the link and buy stuff. I'll get some kind of small commission from it. But the Federal Trade Commission requires that I make it abundantly clear during the promotional period, which is happening right now, that I am an Amazon affiliate, just so you know. Okay? Okay. The link right there will take you to an Amazon post that explains what I'm about to talk about, which is a 5-gallon, it's called an Easy Strainer Insert. Now, for many years, I've been using these as paint strainers. That's what they're for. When you use a big paint spraying machine to paint houses and buildings and things like that, it is, in the past, more so than it is nowadays, but in the past, you used to have to run all your paint through this strainer before you run it through your machine because you don't want to damage your machine with a bunch of clumps and weird nonsense running through your machine. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot more time to clean and break down the machine and get whatever's clogging it up out versus straining the paint, because straining the paint generally takes maybe 5 minutes and an extra bucket. Not that big of a deal, right? So these paint strainers here that go in the top of a 5-gallon bucket, I find these to be the best tool for catching shrimp. Obviously, if your tank is too small to fit this in it, that would be a problem. I believe they sell these in like pint size also. I think they sell them in like pint size strainers. So there are smaller ones out there. I've never used any of the small ones. I would assume that they function just about the same. Either way, I drop these in the tank, maybe put a rock or something in there to hold it down on the bottom. Drop some food into this thing. It's very easy. It's very easy to drop some food. Just let it rest in there. Leave for an hour, hour and a half. Come back. Boom, there are going to be a bunch of shrimp in there, eating on whatever it is, the food that you put in there. And you're able to just lift it straight out. And now, here's the good part. If you have fish in there, the fish normally will swim away because you're just lifting it kind of slowly. The fish will swim away. You're not going to catch fish. But most of the shrimp will just be like, hey, we're just kind of moving a little bit. I'm not all that worried about it. Oh, no, we're out of the water. Right. So it's a very easy way to catch your shrimp, have them in a container. Then you can move them over because this thing, you can just float it in the top of a tank. And like if you didn't want to move duckweed over or something like that, you can kind of drop it down into the water an inch or two and then just use a little net to catch all the little shrimps, drop them into the tank that you're trying to put them in. You're not going to transfer over anything that you didn't want to transfer over. And I find it to work fairly well for the shrimp moving around. And it was one of those weird things that I was legitimately trying to remember. I was trying to remember a little while ago to tell this to you guys, and I had totally forgotten about it. But hopefully that's a helpful method that will work well for you. Let's take a look at our poll with our Cheez-Its, though, here. Cheez-Its, yes or no? We're at 67% yes. Okay, so far we're doing good. It's making sense. Let's just say so far the poll is making sense. I was feeling like it would be an 80-20. I feel like it would be like an 80-20. but seems like 2/3 to 1/3 may or may not be what ends up shaking out here from our poll. Who knows? We don't have a ton of people showing up today so far. Only 40 people seems a little bit low, but we got to get those likes up because we have to get to 1,000 likes today, or my head will explode. Right? I think that's the rule. I think that might be the rule. I don't know. And then you spend all your time raging against that machine. What? What are you guys talking about? Oh, Jared says we had 2 liters for seltzer, but the girlfriend had to switch over to the soda stream. That's a good point. But the thing is, like, once you cut that 2-liter open and make it into a shrimp trap, it's basically just garbage after that. And then you have to try and recycle it. And the whole thing just turns into chaos. So I feel like the paint strainer top is something that will last a long time. If you're into fish keeping, it's something that you'll probably find a million different little uses for, and you'll probably get a lot of use out of it. I think the thing was like $12 or something like that. Yeah, $13. So, seems like a reasonable thing to me. You could probably get a couple of them and find a whole bunch of different zany uses for them. One of the things that I used to do is that I would take this, put it on top of a bucket, start my hose, and then go around and get stuff out of the tank, and then use that screen to screen out whatever it is that I was catching, and then I'd be able to check and go like, oh, did I catch a fish or a bunch of shrimp or something while I was going around doing that, and just kind of like a little bit of a safety measure for just some basic cleaning and stuff like that. So I've always found that thing to be like super useful. Also, I float it in the top of the tank when I'm doing plant trimming, and I take all the plant trimming stuff and drop it into that thing. Lets all the water drip back down into the tank, and also I can check if like I can go through there and get all the snails and stuff and feed those to Puffy. Just kind of a useful little tool that generally just is helpful for fish keeping. It's just a helpful little thing. So maybe that'll work, and maybe you guys will tell me about it later. Oh, Donald's Fish Vibes, the paint machine to remove the clumps. Oh yeah, that's right. You don't want to rage against your paint machine. It's just not. It's not a great thing. It's not a great maneuver. What happened to my live chat here? I was gonna give a shout out. Okay, because now we have the poll, and I can't see who's at the top. Who was first to the chat today? I think it was Jared. I don't know. I can't scroll up. I got to end the poll in order to scroll up. All right, we've ended the poll. Alyssa was first, Jared, and Mikey Fishy, Aubrey, Michael Sarr, Fish Tank Barn, Paula Kreinberg, Wesley's Fish Club, Kiwi Mamo, all first to the chat today. Let's see what we got. Destroy the like button? Yeah, of course. You always got to destroy it. Just punch your phone. Punch straight through your phone. Okay, let me see what's going on here. It's Friday, long week. It was my first week of teaching for the semester. I think I need about a 4-hour nap tomorrow. Agreed. I'll agree with the 4-hour nap. It just sounds like fun. Sounds like fun to chill and have a good nap. Not just a haircut, a tight haircut. That's right. You gotta have it. You gotta keep it tight. You gotta keep it tight. You guys know I get my haircut fairly often. I know Corey and I were having a conversation about that the other day, and he was like, I can't believe he was like, man, you keep it so tight. And I was like, well, I just go once every 2 weeks. I just kind of go every other Monday, basically. And he's like, man, I only go every 4 weeks. And I'm like, well, I mean, it's not that expensive. My barber is really cheap. I think it's $14. I think it's like $14 to get your hair cut. So, it's not very expensive. I know that a lot of women out there are like, oh my God, you get your hair cut so often, you must be going broke. And I realized this a while ago because, Vicky went to a salon, and I think it was like $80 to get her hair cut or something like that. I would not afford. I would not afford that. I would just start shaving my head. I think if it was $80 to get a haircut, I would probably just shave my head and then just go lay down on the ground, I guess. I'm not really sure what I would do after that. Probably just be like, oh, I've shaved my head. Now I gotta lay down, guys. Maybe. Donald's Fish Vibe says, I trim myself bald to the bone. Yeah, see, that was the thing. If it was $80 haircuts, I would just go. I would either just grow my hair long and I would put it up. I'd put it up in a chopstick man bun just to trigger weirdos at the hardware store, and then or I would just shave my head if it was $80 for a haircut. Cheez-Its are not sold in Britain. We have mini cheddars. Let me see. What are these mini cheddars? We must look this up. Mini cheddars. Mini cheddars. Mini cheddars British. Whoa, here we go. Jacobs? Is Jacobs a mini cheddars that we're talking about? It says it's Jacobs mini cheddars. Ew, they have barbecue flavor. Gross. Baked mini cheddars. That does not sound good. Like a barbecue cracker? Ew. That sounds grody. Yeah, what's the brand? What's the brand we're looking for here? Amcluescent. Is it Jacobs? Is Jacobs the one, or is it how do you say this? McVitie's? Can you say McVitie's? Is that what? What is this? Okay, that's a weird name. It looks like Jacobs are the mini cheddar that I could get here. Yeah, I don't. Utz is a thing, but I think that's American. I'm wondering if it's Jacobs. It seems like Jacobs might be the thing. I don't know. We'll find out from Amcluescent what's up. Oh my God, these are. Oh no. I was gonna say they were $80, but no, they're $9 for a 7-pack of chips. What is this? What is this? Red Leicester? Red Leicester flavor chips. What is Red Leicester? What is this? Red Leicester. Okay, it's a cheese. Right. Red Leicester is an English cheese made in similar manner to cheddar cheese, although it is crumbly. Oh, that's right. Okay. I'm having a brain blast here. Whatever. I'm having a oh yeah moment. Yes, Jacobs mini cheddars from Amcluescent. Okay, so would it be the Red Leicester or just the standard ones that we would want to go for? Would we want to go for? Well, let's see what's in here. So flour, okay, vegetable oil. Don't know about the vegetable oil. Dried powdered cheese. Okay, I'm into dried powdered cheese, you guys. Cheddar and Red Leicester. Cheese flavoring. Glucose syrup. Okay, that's not good. Sugar. Dried whey. Barley malt extract. Raising agents. Salt. Lactic acid and natural flavorings. That doesn't sound all that great. But Jacobs Mini Cheddar's Originals. Let's see what's in the Originals. Okay. Contains gluten. Oh my God. Do you think we should go for the 16-count pack of 1 or the pack of 12? Should we try these out? Should I order some and try them out? It says they're now even cheesier. Okay, I don't know if I want the sharing bag. Do you think the sharing bag would get here? Let's see. Leicester. It's pronounced Leicester. Okay. Leicester cheese. Okay, Leicester cheese. All right, I'll do my best to remember that, but it's spelled Leicester, so I'm not 100%. I'll probably just say it wrong because then all the Brits will get super mad at me. And then I'll just be like, well, what do you want me to do? And they'll be like, change your speaking pattern. And I'll be like, I don't know, I'm kind of tired. And then I'll take a nap, and they'll be like, thwarted. They'll be thwarted by me taking a nap. You know what I mean? It's like $24 a cut around me. Aquaman, I don't know where you're going for a $24 haircut. That sounds like you're going to like... That sounds like you're going to like a something cuts or whatever. I go to a barber. I go to a barber shop. If it's $24 to get a haircut, you need to you need to stop going where you're going and go to a real barber shop. Like the place I go is only like $14 now because of COVID. It was $11. They had to raise their prices. And also the barber's trying to buy the building, so I think that's why she raised the price. But regardless, $24 is too much. That sounds like you're going to a hair cutting place that's like it's sort of a salon or something. Unless you live in like downtown, downtown New York or something. Simply Beta says, say Worcestershire. Okay, Worcestershire. There you go. Sorry, Worcestershire. Yeah, is that better? I don't know. I don't really do accents very well. I'm not a super famous voice actor like Simply Beta is. So, you know, it is what it is. But Regular Guy, our newest member to the channel, had an 80 or something year old barber. I gave him 20 and got 14 back. Yeah, that is exactly what I'm talking about right there, where you're like, yeah, here's $20 for the haircut, and they're like, here's a bunch of change. Alec the Nice says 14. That's got to be less than minimum wage where you live. Yeah, minimum wage here is 50. Ooh, hold on, let me check. I think it's 15. I think it's 15 here. Tacoma minimum wage. It might be less than 15. No, it's $13.50 right now in the area that I live. But if you're in Seattle, it's 15. It might be even higher than 15 up there. But it's up to $13.50 here an hour is the minimum. Oh, that's January 1, 2021. The minimum wage in the state of Washington is $13.69 now. So I don't know why Tacoma would be less. It's probably just something to do with the Google search here. $13.69. Nice, right? Is that $13.69 an hour? It's half nice, right? Yeah. It's half nice. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. 24 trim is an uptown cut metro style. Yeah, that's like Saks Fifth Avenue rates for the barber. You know what I mean? I guess if you were in like downtown New York or downtown whatever, I guess Chicago's like a real city or whatever. I guess if you were like downtown, maybe $24 for a barber. But the old one I went to back in the day was in a fairly downtownish area, and back then it was like $7 to get your hair cut. Barbers are super fast at cutting hair. You know, I'd be shocked if you spend more than 10 minutes in the barber chair. That's maybe somebody that's new. That might be somebody that's like new at being a barber. So the upside is that barbers, they're really fast. Like they're really fast. They're really efficient. You're in there, you're out of there, you tip. It's like if somebody charges you $7 for a haircut, you're probably going to give them like 15, right? Or at the very least a 10, right? Which is going to be like a $3 tip. And then they're probably going to split $7 with the owner, maybe. I'm not really sure how barbers are paid. I think they're 1099, like independent contractors. I think sort of like tattooers, right? But I don't know how they split it. But you're gonna get a bunch of tips. You're gonna get a bunch of cash tips. If you cut like 5 people's hair an hour and you're getting a $5 tip, that's like $25 plus whatever you're making. So you can see how, if you're at a busy barber shop and you're cutting a lot of people's hair and you're going at it pretty quick, you can make some good dinero at a good click, per hour as time goes by. And it's a fairly kind environment to be working in, I think, other than all the little hair that you get all over you, which I would not be able to handle that. I would not be able to be a barber for the fact that all the little hairs, all the little hairs you get all over you is like, but I would not be able to handle that, dude. I would be like grossed out all the time. I would not be able to do that job. So hats off if I was wearing a hat to anybody that does that, because it's not something I could do. Donald's Fish, young mango making me feel for a chow now. What? I don't understand. How do you gauge how much CO2 is in your aquarium? I don't know. I don't know what's happening right now there. There was a long time ago I used to measure my CO2 frequently. I don't do it anymore. But if you're looking at how to gauge CO2, it's the let me find the table. Water table measurement. So I just haven't done this in a long time, but it looks like this. Let me download a little copy of it. The thing that you're looking for is what I searched for is CO2 kH water table measurement. And the thing that you're looking for is this thing. So you're going to measure your pH. Let me save image as. Okay. Save. There's a whole bunch of them. This one happens to be from what's this from? The 2-hour aquarist. I don't know who that is, but they probably like put the values in. I really don't. I would really doubt that they actually made this up, because it's been around forever. So you go pH and you go your kH values, right? And then you can figure out how much CO2 is in your water. Looks like this. You're going to measure your kH. You're going to measure your pH. And where you're going to fall in that range. Looks like this. Yellow is going to be too much. Blue is going to be not enough. Green is where you want to be. And for many years, I used to do this. I used to do this test all the time. And at this point in time in my career, I make a reactor and I push a bunch of CO2 in there. And that's pretty much it these days. I don't test for this stuff because I've set up so many systems these days that I just don't test anymore. Do I recommend that for people that are starting out? No. Do what I did. Test all the time. Get vibes for what's going on. Observation is going to be your biggest, like observation and setting up your, basically your rhythm, right? The rhythm that you're going to be following with your aquarium. So like, what's your maintenance schedule? What's your water change schedule? When do you add fertilizers normally? Do you check your CO2 that it's working properly? I have a bunch of videos of me making all sorts of different kinds of reactors. So you could check those out if you like, and or you could check them out if you don't like. Feel free to watch free YouTube videos. It's all good. Do whatever. Spend your time doing that if you like. But the biggest points for me now is setting it up properly and then just following a basic rhythm of adding some fertilizer. Generally every third day is when I add fertilizer. I do a water change generally every 2 weeks. Maintenance, cleaning, trimming of the plants, observing what is going on with the health of the plants that are going on. That if there happens to be any fertilizer deficiencies or anything like that, it's just generally how I operate these days. And one of the things with that is basically just having done it a really long time. It's like when I explain to people, like, cooking food, right? You don't start out being good cooking food. You're going to fail. You're going to fail a lot. You're probably going to screw up boiling water. For me, that was when I was like 10 or something, 9, I don't know. But, when you start out cooking, you're not going to be good at it. When you've cut up hundreds of thousands of onions, then you're really good at cutting onions, you know what I mean? And when you do that over and over again, you don't have to think about it. You don't have to think about what you're doing. And I'm not saying that I'm 100% good. I'm definitely not saying I'm the best at running Planet Aquariums, but I've run so many of them for a long time that it's rare that I really run into an issue that's like, oh, crap, let me start testing to figure out what's going on. But I still fall back on testing also when things get out of hand. But it's pretty rare these days when things get all sorts of weird. Big D Smoke says $38.72 is the minimum wage. I think that's the minimum prevailing wage, depending on what your job is. Not 100%. I get a trim with some layers, and it's $42. Well, Lady Guinevere, it's probably worth it. I mean, you are a lady, so that's like a thing. And cutting layers is difficult, from my understanding, right? I don't know. I think it's difficult, so maybe it's worth $42. I don't know. Maybe it's worth it. But if you go, let's see, if you go once every, can I do the math? I guess if you go like once every month and a half or something like that, it's about the same amount of money, I guess. But $42 isn't bad, I suppose, for a lady cut. I don't know. Donald's Fish Vibe says barbers make their money doing ladies' eyebrows. 5 minutes, quick turnover, charging almost the same as a man's haircut. I've never seen my barbers ever do a lady eyebrows, so I cannot back up the validity of that statement. My drop checker fell off my aquarium wall, and I'm wondering if indicator solution will harm the fish. No, the solution's not a big deal. You should be fine. It says puffers won't eat today, so I was thinking the worst. That's kind of weird that a puffer wouldn't eat. I've never really... Well, I have experienced puffers, like, not having an appetite. That generally means that they probably ate something else. Did they have the big pulk in their belly? If they had that big like pulp up in their belly, maybe they found something else to eat and they just didn't have an appetite. Or offer them something else. Because my puffers always eat when I offer them snails, but if I offer them like bloodworms or whatever, there's a bunch of times where they're just like, nah, dude, that's not. I don't even see that as food. So, which is weird. Because they should understand that it's food, but they don't sometimes. Don't know why. And my puffer won't eat frozen shrimp, which is just a total pain. I sure wish that he would. It would make my life like a little bit easier on a regular basis if I could just give him like a big shrimp snack every once in a while. I was interested in becoming a barber once until I got the part in the book with all the various skin ailments on the scalp. Good point. Good point. That is that probably would have turned me off also, Aubrey, I would admit. I don't like touching other people. Although I am like a huggy, pat you on the back kind of guy. I guess I don't mind, like, affectionate, but I don't want to, like, touch people as a job. There we go. That's the clarity. That's the clarity there. Like, I like friendly contact here and there, you know? But I don't think I'd want to touch people for a job. That's probably the caveat there. Like, I wouldn't want it to be for work. Everything on my body gets a number 2 shave. I think it cost me $30 for the clippers, 15 years. That's a strong play. All right. Got no layers once, and it was about the same cost. Well, man, you would think that oh, no, ladies' haircuts are always just going to be expensive. Joel, check the hot girls' dem, so I would know they do their eyebrows. I check the hot girls' dem. I don't know what that means, Donald. Yeah, I don't know. I've just never seen my barbers ever do someone's eyebrows, other than like old guys, like have long eyebrows. I've seen them like trim them. My barber trimmed my eyebrows the other day, and I just don't even know what to think about it. I've told her on numerous times I like them to be all wizardly and long, but she trimmed them the other day before I had a chance to say no, and there was no going back. So we just out here. You know what I mean? Like, excuse me. Like, we just out here doing whatever. Watching you do a YouTube video cutting other fish keeping YouTubes will get you 1 million views. Your reactions would be fun. The thing is, like, here's the thing. I could definitely do the fish for thought thing where you just literally go on and just make fun of other people's stuff. And I could probably do it, like, way harsher than that. I could probably do it Louis C.K. level, right? I could definitely do that. And it probably would make me more popular, I think. They probably would get a lot of views. It would create a lot of animosity that already exists within the YouTube community as far as me just existing as a person. To the point where there are a lot of YouTubers that would and have vocalized that they want to punch me in the face already. So, do I think that that's a positive way to go through life? No. I don't think it's a positive way to go through life, and I don't think it's a positive way to, like, create content. It is a positive way to just strictly make money. But I think it would be a monumental waste of my time, where I would just generally have to... I would generally just have to be dealing with bad vibes all the time, and that's not something I want to do with my life. So my hat's off to other people if that's what they want to do. But I personally like to make fun of terrible lying politicians and stuff like that a lot more, which is some of the which hats off to people that watch this show. And hats off to everybody out there. That's some of the stuff that I've been helping some other YouTube channels with. And mainly because, like, there are a lot of YouTubers out there that just give out bad fish advice and whatnot. But whatever, like, what do you want me to do about it? Like, I don't know. It just seems like a huge waste of time. To me, you know, and it's just not like a vibe I want to live with when I could make fun of Dan Crenshaw. You know what I mean? Like, that guy's literally affecting other people's lives with his crazy rhetoric in the House, right? As a representative of our government. And I could literally spend some time making fun of that guy because he's literally affecting other people's lives. Like, bad advice on YouTube is just kind of like, I don't know, you probably should just do some basic fact-checking. If you watch a video and somebody says to do a thing, you should probably fact-check it on the back end, regardless of who's giving the advice out. So as far as, like, that whole kind of stuff, I find it to like make fun of politicians is way better than than making fun of YouTubers. Which realistically, I could just, I guess, do the Jake Paul thing and just challenge UFC fighters to boxing matches or something, and then I guess that would get me some money. But yeah, that seems like a waste of time. And I have a daughter. I have a beautiful daughter that that I want to be around for. So, you know, it is what it is. Excuse me. I burped. Oh, you were thinking about me cutting Corey's hair. I don't know that I would cut Corey's hair just because I would do a bad job of it. And he has like a cool barber, so I really wouldn't want to take money out of his barber's pocket. And I do know that like just like me, it's a little bit of a break for a little bit of self-care, and it's just kind of nice, you know. My barber is a older Korean lady who moved here about 40 years ago. And so I find our little 10-minute conversations to be really entertaining and really insightful. And she cuts my hair really nice. And all of the other people there, all of the other barber ladies that work there are all really nice. And it's just a nice place to go and have a haircut, go do the thing. And I wouldn't want to interfere with anybody else doing that by like screwing up their hair. Oh, Big D has a good point. It has to be a UFC fighter older than you and smaller than you if you want to be Jake Paul. Yeah. Who was it? Who was the NFL guy? What was it? It's a guy off the Browns. It was a guy, who was it on the Browns? There was somebody on the Browns that, yeah, Myles Garrett. Yeah, Jake Paul on Myles Garrett possibly fighting his brother Logan. And he says stick to football. And the thing is that, like, if Jake Paul or Logan Paul fight Myles Garrett, like, they are going to get demolished. Like, that is... Because I remember, was it Jake Paul or Logan Paul? One of them fought Nate Robinson. Who was it? He showed as much with his victories over NBA star Nate Robinson. So Nate Robinson's like 5'9" or 5'10", 5'11", like 180 or 190 pounds. Like Myles Garrett was listed at 6'4", 265. I don't know if you guys understand what like football weight is, but when somebody is 265, I think he's a defensive end, right? What does Myles Garrett play? Is he a... Hold on, let me see. What does Myles Garrett play? Let's look up Myles Garrett's stats here. Hold on. So Nate Robinson was a retired NBA player who's like a short little guy. He's like 5'7". He's like 5'7" or something like that. I don't know. And Jake Paul's like 6'1", like 200. He's a decent sized guy. But he fought Nate Robinson, who was like a retired basketball player. Yeah, and here you go. Myles Garrett is currently in the NFL. He's voted as the number 16 player in the NFL top 100 players of 2021. He's 25 years old. He's 6'4", 272 pounds of defensive end, which means I mean, he's the guy who's gonna try to get your quarterback. Is basically what I'm saying. He isn't filling up and trying to stop your running back. He's running after your quarterback, right? And for Jake Paul or Logan Paul to even challenge that guy to anything is incredibly stupid, I would think, because I think Nate Robinson was like 45 years old or something. I don't know. How old's Nate Robinson? Let's look how old he is. He's long since retired. Oh, no, he's 37. Okay, he's 37. He's been retired for 6 years. He's been retired for 6 years. He's 5'9", 180. So he's much smaller than Jake Paul or Logan Paul or whoever. And, yeah, he's not even in the same class. But Jake Paul and Logan Paul are not in Myles Garrett's class either. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. That whole situation is just ridiculous. But I guess I could do that. Yeah. Dank Tank says Greg Hardy. Yeah, Greg Hardy sucks. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, he's a bad guy. Alec the Nice says, well, Corvus is a serious man. I wouldn't say that I'm, like, serious. I am a goofball. I'm constantly goofing off all the time to the point where people get mad at me. So, yeah, you know, I mean, it just is what it is. Chirish says politicians with crappy tanks. That's right. I would like to burn politicians with crappy aquariums. Yes. Generally because they have all of the resources, money, and time to take care of them. And if they're not, then that's a real bummer. Big D Smoke says he's going to have his hands full with Tyrone Woodley. Yeah, that is not going to go well. My prediction is it's not going to go well for whichever Paul brother is fighting Tyrone Woodley. Yeah, that's my guess. Yeah. Herschel Walker did UFC in his 50s. Yeah, nobody in their 50s should be doing any UFC stuff. My sister is a stylist and trims her husband eyebrows when she does his hair. He says he never thought about it before, but really likes it now. I feel like I get more sweat in my eyes when I'm working. So I like them long brows. Keep the sweat out of my eyes because that's what they're for. That's what these big eyebrows are for. Bonsoir. Bonsoir. Welcome, bonsoir. Says, trumpet snails good for a tank, not too many, but my pea puffer Pee-wee died. Now I worry they're going to get out of hand. Pretty rare that puffers will really eat that many trumpet snails, but they might get out of hand for you depending on your feeding and stuff like that. I like to have trumpet snails in my Planet aquariums because they help kind of churn up the substrate a little bit. If you guys know, trumpet snails generally come out at night. They're out when it's dark. Then when it's light, they go down into your substrate and go around down in there and do their little crawling around snail stuff. Being gross, little creepy snails. Which is generally, in my opinion, beneficial for my tanks. It's fairly easy to mitigate them and keep them in check. As long as you're not overfeeding and having a whole bunch of extra stuff in there, they won't breed out of control, in my experience. My tanks are also, even though I do buffer my water up a little bit, generally the pH is a little bit lower, which in my opinion, has a tendency to keep their population a little bit down. But, yeah, I just typically don't have the issue of them breeding out of control in my aquariums the way that they're set up. So I see them as a beneficial thing and have never really been freaked out to get rid of them. But if you want to get rid of them, wait till the lights go out on your tank. Wait a couple hours after the lights go out, and then just net a whole bunch of them off of the glass and throw them out. Yeah, Woodley's in right there in height and reach, so no big advantages. Yeah, I think Tyrone Woodley. How big is this? How big is Tyrone Woodley? I remember him being. Mm. No, Tyrone Woodley is much shorter. I mean, he's probably comparable in weight, but it says he's 5'9". So, which means he's shorter than I am, which is, I'm not that tall, but that's shorter than me. So, I don't like fighting guys. I wouldn't like fighting a guy who's like 6'2". And, yeah, I don't know. I mean, Tyrone Woodley is a very accomplished fighter, so, we'll see how it goes. But, yeah. I do not predict it going well for any of the Pauls. Whichever Paul, what is it? What's their name? I don't know. But whatever Paul is fighting them, is it this Paul? Is it that Paul? I don't know. But it seems pretty idiotic as far as I'm concerned. But I guess they're making a ton of money, so by that metric, I guess they're doing good. Today we had one member today and no super chat, so maybe I should start boxing former UFC fighters or whatever. But honestly, he went over a good way to remove shrimp and algae from a large tank. Cheesy Wotsits. What's a cheesy Wotsit? I don't know what that is. Sounds like a cheesy cracker. Cheese and haircuts by Bunny Viper. Who's Bunny Viper? Bunny Viper says, what's the actual subject of the live stream? I found it late, apparently. My live stream is pretty loose as far as the show goes. Like, I generally am just sort of responding to the chat. Like, I do have some prepared stuff. Like, at the beginning of the show, we talked about getting shrimp out of the tank and what I use to get shrimp out of the tank so I can move them to another tank. I don't know if my link is still live in my deal here, so let me get the link for you. Copy, Control V, post it in the chat. There we go. This was the thing that we talked about early on to move shrimp from the tank. We talked about the weather. We talked about whatever's going on. People ask questions. I do my best to answer them. Sometimes I don't have an answer. Yeah. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I ramble on about random things that pop into my head, and we talk about those too, so who knows. What is it supposed to be as the main subject? If I knew, perhaps I could come in with a question. So Bunny Viper and to anybody else who watches this show, just come in with a question. You already asked multiple things in the chat there, and you could have just asked about whatever, You could have asked about whatever. You could have asked me about import and export costs from Trinidad and Tobago to America, and I probably would have had something to say about it, or at least we would have looked it up. Prehuman Malware from Jared Byer says, I would go to a sports-themed chain of barbers. For about $30, you get a cut, a hot towel wrap, and a back massage. Did that 2 to 4 times a year. Now I just buzz it myself. Oh, I know what you're talking about. There's like this sports-themed chain of barber shops. We went to one in Colorado because one of the front tie rods broke off of my truck when we were in Colorado, and I had to get it fixed. So I took it to Les Schwab, and they were like, yeah, it'll be about 4 hours because we're waiting on the part. We'll get it all fixed up and then get it back. We'll just call you when it's ready. So Vicky and I just walked off. We just were like, all right, we'll go wander around wherever city we were in Colorado. I don't remember. It was like maybe Colorado Springs, I want to say. And it was like, I forget what we did. I think like Vicky got a manicure and a pedicure. Like I think she got her nails did and some stuff. And then I was like, well, maybe I'll get a haircut. And the only place that was getting a haircut was like that sporty barber hot towel thing. I don't know. I felt like they didn't do a great haircut and it wasn't a great massage either. So it was sort of like, I don't know. I felt like I was getting two things that were not very good. And I think it was something like, $40 or $30 plus a tip, something like that. And I felt just like, I just want my $10 haircut or $12 haircut or whatever it was at the time. And the thing is, one of the things that's really nice about going to a real barber is that it doesn't take very long. So you can legit go get a haircut and get a coffee and be back in a real reasonable amount of time. Yeah. Tobago is pronounced Tobago, not Tobargo. Trinidad and Tobago. Hey, man. Donald, I don't come over to your house and tell you how to pronounce things. Actually, everybody comes over to my live stream and tells me how to pronounce things. So let's just keep it up. Why not? I'm into it. J. Oliver's Guppies and Aquatics says, "Hey, Fish family. Hope everyone is doing well." Well, we hope you're doing well, too. 100%. As far as I could tell, nobody had any bad news in the chat today, so that's nice. We got that nice thing going for us. Nice. And the like button. If you haven't hit the like button, dear Lord, the robot algorithm, robot YouTube overlords will get mad if we don't hit the like button. Alyssa Bentley to Bonsoir said, "Keep your feeding down and they won't breed so much. I breed plecos, though, and sometimes I get snail substrate. It's gross, but it doesn't hurt." Yeah, I generally like the, to jump back to the trumpet snails, like, I never really have issues with Malaysian trumpet snails. Sometimes there's more, sometimes there's less. I know that they're good for my substrate, so I'm always just kind of like, just somebody eating a little bit of waste, churning around in the substrate and just doing little snail stuff. Doesn't bother me. Although I have seen pictures of people's Malaysian trumpet snails getting wildly out of hand and breeding like crazy, which has always made me wonder, like, what are you doing with your tank? Are you feeding a lot for some reason? Like maybe you're breeding your fish or something like that, and that is leading to a whole bunch of extra, snail breeding or something. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really 100%. Zelf Ernide, what's up, Zelf? Good to see you. Have you ever considered making your own charcoal for your chickens and garden? Why would I need to make charcoal for my chickens? Or my garden? Zelf, I need some clarifying here. Oh, we make charcoal for the garden, but last time I made charcoal for the garden, that's right. Okay, for the garden, I'm remembering. We made charcoal. I made a big bucket of it, like a big steel bucket, metal bucket, galvanized, like a galvanized bucket. And Vicky only used like a quarter of it, and then the next year she used like a quarter of, well, maybe like a third. And so I still have like half of the bucket of charcoal that I made. And it's been 2 or 3 years now. But I'm not sure why the chickens would need charcoal. I don't know why chickens would need charcoal. Yeah. But our big thing that we're looking at doing right now is we're looking at doing like a mealworm farm. Like, you know how you do the worm farm? You do the worm bed, the worm bin. There we go. We might end up doing mealworm bin is the thing that we're looking at right now. We're going to we have some new chickens. They are in the spot where I was going to put the next fish tank. Is we have baby chicks now. We got baby chicks last week. So now I got to raise those to a pullet. I got to build a temporary thing for them in our chicken area, in our chicken yard. I'm going to have to build a temporary thing for that. And then once they're up to like pullet size, a little bit bigger, then I can incorporate them into our flock. But we are currently making the decision if we want to take our old hens and put them out to pasture, so to speak. We're making our decision on what we want to do with that, because a lot of them aren't. Not all of them are laying eggs anymore. You know, a lot of them aren't laying eggs anymore, so we're going to figure out what we're going to do with our old chickens. Otherwise, we probably need to get some more chicks at this point so that they can all grow up at the same time together. But, some people think 5 is enough. I think 10 is good. Donald's Fish Vibe is saying, can puffers eat those trumpet snails? My shouted deni, not really. Doesn't really seem that interested in... doesn't seem that interested in trumpet snails, mainly because, as is posted here by Alyssa, the bigger puffers can, and as you mentioned, their shell is extremely hard. Their shell is hard. The shouted deni will bump the trumpet snails and bite their foot and get whatever meat out, but not crunch their shells. But a bigger puffer will 100% hammer down on trumpet snails, no problem. But the little shota deni doesn't. He's like, nah. God, my nose itches. My nose is itching like crazy. Wonder Boy is here. Says a little bit of a weird question. I'm considering doing a sump on a new tank for the experience rather than the utility. Is it possible to use a Venturi air pump instead of a mechanical return pump? No. Mechanical return pump is going to be the way to go. You definitely want a mechanical return pump. Yeah, you're not going to get the lift out of a Venturi, so I wouldn't even bother with it, really. I mean, you'll get water out of the tank. Yeah, I mean, no, I just wouldn't. Chirish says, I have chickens, I did mealworm bins, and I also have a giant red wriggler worm farm. The chickens love it when I harvest worm casings and a ton of worms fall out. Yes, chickens love eating worms. But now that you mention it, I probably will do the mealworm thing because can definitely feed some mealworms to fish. So, I mean, you can feed regular worms to fish too, but they really like mealworms. Hey, Zipgun says, I don't know what type of puffer, but I had a number of customers who would ask for them for their puffers. Yeah, just any of the slightly bigger puffers, like figure eights for sure. Amazon puffers, yeah. Maboo, of course. Maboo will eat anything. I'm not saying to do this, don't do this, but I think if you stuck a hot dog in there, a Maboo puffer would probably just eat it up. Maboo puffers eat just about anything. I think Alyssa says, what puffer Big D has? That one specifically loves trumpet snails. I think he has a Fahaka puffer, I think, if I can remember correctly. Could be wrong. Zelfernite says, no bad news. I'll break the trend. Last night I saw one of my SAEs has dropsy. That's sad news. That is sad news. Dropsy is almost incurable. It's normally just a sign of something incurable is your fish is succumbing to something incurable, and that is a drag. I've never been able to get anything to survive dropsy that I can recall. Oh, charcoal in their bedding to absorb smells. Okay. I could see how that might be useful. In a chicken-related application, but I mean, I'm not saying our coop is the cleanest coop in the world or anything like that, but they're really not that odoriferous. The odor's not that bad, so not really an issue. So yeah, it hasn't really. We just change their bedding on a regular basis, like fairly often, because their coop's not that big, and it's not that big of an ordeal. To probably takes about 15 minutes to get the bin out, scoop everything out of the coop, throw a bunch of new stuff in there, put the bin back. Like changing their bedding out and cleaning the coop doesn't really take that long. Although Vicky does want to rebuild the coop so that she can spray it out more readily than she can now. Which is fine. We'll probably end up doing that. Rebuilding the coop altogether. Will loaches help? Get rid of trumpet snails? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that will definitely. They'll hammer down. Maybe not on the big ones, but they'll hammer down on all the other trumpet snails. They'll get rid of them, especially all the babies. When you start to get rid of the babies, especially with snails, they really knocks down their population really fast. The odor is only bad if you have bad husbandry, same as fish. Well, not necessarily. It's not as humid here as other areas, so that contributes to like keeping the funk down from the chickens. So there's that. That has a tendency to do pretty well. Plus, their roof is pretty watertight, so we don't get a lot of water in there or anything. I think as far as my experience goes, like if you keep the moisture down with chickens, they won't be as funky. They won't be as funky smelling. So that's definitely something that you could probably work on a little bit. But if charcoal's working for you, then I would just go for it. Why not? All right. Da, 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 da. All right. Well, are we caught up? I think we're caught up. Chat has slowed down. Chat has slowed to a snail's pace. Chat has slowed down to a Malaysian trumpet snail's pace. We got 100 million likes today. God, guys, that's a new record. Okie dokie. Well, let's see. So what was in the news today? Let's see what it was. What are the top things? Judge blocks Florida governor's order banning mask mandates. Oh, that's clearly... I mean, Ron DeSantis is just out of his mind. All of the evidence points towards kids in schools should just be wearing a mask. And I don't understand it. Like, I recently encountered an argument between basically a child care person and their like, I don't know, family member, associated family member, where the associated family member that doesn't have child care experience other than taking care of their own kids was like, this mask mandate's ridiculous. It's not going to do anything. Blah, 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 blah. And was like, they need to employ washing hands, right? And I don't know if that guy had ever been to school or not, but hand washing is already taught in school and encouraged in school. I don't know if there's some confusion on his point, but it seems like he was pretty confused about that the hand washing was going to keep COVID from spreading around. like, I think hand washing will help and is something that is good for everybody to do, regardless of a pandemic. You should be washing your hands on a fairly regular basis when you do risque things with them, like encounter the bathroom, or you're eating food, or rubbing your eyes, or scratching your armpit, or whatever it is that you're doing. Maybe you're touching raw chicken. Wash your hands, you dirty bum. You should definitely have good hand washing habits at this point, especially if you're an adult. Yeah, schools should be reminding kids to constantly wash their hands, because as somebody who ran kitchens for a long time, you really got to remind people to wash their hands a lot. And you have to do the happy birthday twice, and make sure that they have hot water and soap and a good way to dry their hands and all that stuff for sure. But if we're talking about like mitigating the spread of flu, colds, viruses, COVID, all of these things, wearing a mask when you're in close proximity with people that may or may not have said virus or whatnot, that is also good science, right? That's also good science. It's like when you go to the hospital and the people wear masks there, or like if you go to, I don't know, a bakery where you have to wear a face mask so you don't get your face and germs coming out of your mouth and face and stuff all over bread. I don't know if this person has ever been to a bakery where there's a lot of baking going on, but like, bread is one of those things that can be an extremely good surface for bacteria to grow on, because depending on the moisture content of the bread and whatnot, there's a lot of carbohydrates there, and it's a porous surface, and oftentimes there is moisture inside that bread bag, and so you do have to wear a hairnet over your face, and oftentimes a face mask, a hairnet over your head, a nice coat that is clean when you're in a bakery, right? Butcher shop, generally too, same thing. Lady Guinevere, do you want to call in? I will open up the phone lines. Let me edit the name of the channel on Discord to the 27th. There we go. Save changes. I've changed and saved the date for the phone line is open. August 27th, 2021 on the Discord channel is open for anyone that wants to call in. And Lady Guinevere, I know you're on Discord, so if you want to call in, you can. Yes. Call in is open. I didn't know what I was gonna. I don't know what I was gonna type there. Did you see me like trying to figure out what I was typing live on the internet? Yeah, you can call in. So yeah, it's kind of weird to see like a governor trying to block a mask mandate. It's just weird. It's just super weird to see that. Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. The Afghanistan tragedy that's ongoing right now, that is just so sad with the suicide bomber there. I don't even know how to describe that going on. I just really hope that all the people that need to get evacuated can get evacuated, and I hope there's no more suicide bombers. Like, that's just awful. And my heart goes out to everybody that was wounded or lost their lives and all that stuff. It's just abysmally sad. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know what else is going on in the news. Looks like there's a hurricane going on. Let's look up Tacoma local news. See what's going on. These are extraordinary times. Teachers weigh return to school, vaccine requirements. I've mentioned it many times on this show. If you're an anti-vax person, just keep it to yourself. Go away. I don't have time for it. I don't have time to talk to people about that.
Oh,
Lady Gwyneth,
hello. Does this work?
Yeah, you're on the line.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. My volume was turned way up, so I had to turn it down a little bit. Well, what's up? What's going on? It's Friday.
Oh, I wanted everyone's opinion on some Ember Tetras and an experience I had at Petco.
Oh my God! You had an experience at Petco? Oh my God! It can be, well, it could be one of two things. No, three things. There's three things that could have happened at Petco. You could have gone there, and you just had free reign of the store because no one was working. I've had that happen. And you just like
Close.
wander around aimlessly, like, what is this? What is this? The apocalypse? What's happening?
Yep.
Or you could have had secret option number 2, the world's worst advice from somebody who has like no interest in animals who just happens to work there.
Yeah, so that's cool.
Or secret option number 3, somebody very knowledgeable was working there, and you wonder, why don't they work at the freaking zoo instead?
No, it's kind of the middle ground. I have 20 long currently, heavily planted. I've got a couple of Amanos. I forget the order, but the neon blue dwarf goby dude. And I saw Neorites and a clown pleco, and I went to buy some Ember Tetras. And they were very iffy about selling me any because of the stock level of my tank, I suppose.
They didn't want to sell you any Ember Tetras.
Well, they were concerned about the bio load, which, I mean, I've been keeping fish for like 12 plus years, so I was like, because they said they had to go based off of the size of the fish and the, X fish per gallon thing.
What, they had to go off of that?
That's what I was told, and I got a whole lecture. Like, I don't know how to tell people, like, I know what I'm doing, please stop. And it was just, I don't know, it was like, well, I think it was like 1 Ember Tetra per like 2 or 2.5 gallons or something.
Well, then just tell them you have a 500-gallon tank and just F off. Like,
I can't lie like that.
I mean, I'm not encouraging people to like lie or swear at Petco people, but like
it was very off-putting.
I would just be like, yeah, I want 30 of these fish, and they'd be like, what size tank you have? And I'd be like, I would like to buy 30 of these fish. And they would be like,
I understand what they're doing, but
they'd be like, what size tank do you have? And I'd be like, I would like to purchase 30 of these fish right now, sir, or ma'am, or human person.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. Everything I'm always so awkward. Like, everything they were referencing, I'm like, okay, but that's not how that works. Or, it can work like this. It's just, it was very off-putting as someone who's just trying to buy a couple of fish. But it's also, to me, I'm like, you sell that 1.5 gallon fish tank over there. Are you going to tell people no to like a beta or something when you just sold them that?
Right. Right. Yeah, because you're like, well, how big's a beta? Right? And they'd be like, well, he's like 2-3 inches. I don't know. How big is he? And you're like, well, what's up with this? What's up with this paint can? It's like, what's up with this paint can you're selling as a tank? What's up, dude? Or they're sitting there in like the tiny little cup, and you'd be like, "How's that okay then?" And then you start flipping tables over and freaking out, right? That's probably what I would have done.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'd have been like, "Is there a table in here, sir? I'm gonna flip it over right now. I'm gonna freak out." Probably not. But
yes, it's because she was telling me, they always tell you, these fish are in a school. I'm like, yeah, I want like 10. They're like, I'm gonna sell you 3 to begin with. I'm like, well, how does that make any sense?
This makes no sense. You can't just. Oh, yeah. I don't. You know what? Like, I spent so many years like dealing with idiots at stores. I'm gonna try to think. Okay, let me get in my headspace here for a second. Like, I think realistically, how I would deal with somebody at the store is I would have just been like, I've been keeping fish for 1,000 years. Okay, I just want to buy some of these fish. No, I don't want to answer any of your questions. I would like to purchase these fish. If that's a problem, I'm going to purchase these fish from someone else at this store. And maybe that's a problem for your job or something. I don't know. But can we just go get the manager and have him bag up the fish or whatever? Like, I don't understand what's going on here. I would like to purchase a product that you have for sale. You know,
Yep.
and I think if they found that to be unreasonable, then I would legit just be like, all right, F this. I'm going to go order them online and get them somewhere else. Because, like, I've literally been to, like, and I've seen this happen. You know what? I don't want to turn this into, like, some kind of weird conversation about men and women or, you know what I mean? But, like, I almost feel like this happens to women, like, way more than it would to a dude like me, right? Because somebody would, like, it's pretty rare that somebody would bring that conversation, like, directly to my face, regardless of.
I see that. It was a woman that was talking to me, but she was talking from, oh, Hank keeps these tanks, whoever Hank is, right?
Right.
And he's very meticulous and da. I'm like, okay, but he works at Petco.
Right. Which is immediately like, what are you talking about? And who's Hank? And what?
Yeah, and I'm like, that doesn't make Hank right. And I'm like, I can pop up, of videos right now of people that are very knowledgeable that just kind of like they're just now getting to a point, I feel like, where people were like 5-10 years ago with the whole fish per gallon thing.
Which is just chaos. It's just chaotically stupid.
Yeah.
It's like the how many watts per gallon is my light supposed to be? And you're like, what? What kind of light do you have? I'm like, I don't know. And you're like, is it an LED light? Is it a T5? Is it a metal halide? Is it a high pressure sodium? Like, what kind of light are we talking about here? So it, and yeah, I don't know. I think it would legit be like, well, I'm just going to talk to this young lady like an asshole. I think that's really what it is.
It happens all the time.
I think that's what's happening here. Because a friend of mine the other day had posted like, what was it? It was something about the oh, that's right. What's the McCarty? What's her name? She's like
Jenna McCarthy?
No, that's not a real person. I mean,
okay.
It's Dr. McCarty. McCarty, I think.
I don't know.
I think she's a physicist. Oops, I gotta push the right buttons here. Physicist. I think that's McCarty. Logan. No. Anyhow, there's a gal who's a doctor in space stuff, right? Like physics, the physical dynamics of fire and space and all this crazy stuff, right? And I guess she was giving a speaking engagement at NASA to like inform about her specific thing, right? And I guess some doctorate guy who was another doctor like stood up and was like, "Hey, you know what? You should really familiarize yourself with Dr. McCarty and blah 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 before you come here and talk to us." And apparently she uncovered her badge and was like, "That's who I am." Like,
it's some weird stuff that happens, man, all the time.
And so it had spurred a conversation with some friends of mine who were talking about like going to the hardware store and being a lady at the hardware store. And, yeah, and the friend of mine's a contractor, right? Like a general contractor. It was like, I asked for something the other day at like Lowe's or Home Depot or wherever they were. I forget which one it was. And like a whole bunch of dudes got involved in like telling her it's not what she's looking for. You want to get this. This is the other thing. And you should go this way and blah, 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 and all this crazy stuff. And it was like, no, I just want to buy this. Where is it here?
Yeah. I when I worked for an electrical contractor, I was there with my work boots and my shirt on. And I was looking at Milwaukee, and this guy walks up. He's like, "You buying for your boyfriend or your dad?" And I just looked at him. I was like, "What?"
It's like, have you ever been punched in the junk, sir? Like,
yeah, I get like, people are always just like explaining things to me. I'm like, yeah, I know more about this than you do. Please move on.
Yeah.
Ugh,
well, yeah, because you do electrical, right?
Yes, not so much like the residential and whatnot. Now I'm in metering and for utility, but so it's a little different. But I still dual concepts and everything, so
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing, but it still happens all the time. Like, if I go up to a job site, because I'm actually one of the most, sadly, the most experienced people in our group now due to people leaving left and right, so I'll go up to a job site, and if there's anybody else with me, it's a guy, like, they immediately get, we walk up, they look at them first, I'm like, no,
Right.
I'm over here. This is my job.
One of my favorite contractors of all time was he's the dad excuse me. He was the dad of a friend of mine, right? That's how I knew him. And I forget what it is. Are you a transvestite when you cross dress, or what is that? What is
I think that's just
a cross dresser? I don't know. Let's
I
just
don't
go
know.
with the cross dresser, right? So the guy, he was the funniest guy. He wore heels and lipstick and had long hair, and he would wear like a bustier or whatever. He'd wear like heels to the job site, like red women's heels in man size to the job site, and it was like
size man.
yeah. And one time it was like we ran to the hardware store, and he's got the long hair, he's got eyeliner, lipstick, he's looking all cute. But of course he's got his Carhartts on and then high heels and whatnot. And he's like loading
awesome.
lumber. He's like loading lumber into his pickup, like chucking 2x4s and 2x6s in there. And it's like every single guy that walked by is like, what the hell? And it's like, he works just as hard as you guys. So I don't care what he wears, but it was just like, it was always fun to like go places with that guy. Because it was always like somebody had to say something, It's like, I don't.
Yeah,
This is
there
gonna
is
be.
that too.
This is gonna be a fight. You're like, huh? All right, let's see how this goes.
People always have to say something. You're just like, no, I'm just here to get what I want and leave and whatever.
It's always the hardware store. It's always the pet store. But I feel like
I can never find anyone at the pet store.
Yeah, I feel like Petco is always like so mismanaged. Like,
PetSmart's the worst here.
Like a while ago, I went in there to just buy like, I don't know what I was there for. It was something stupid. Like I was just buying some dechlorinator or something. And there was like a whole bunch of people cutting dogs' hair, doing the dog grooming. And then like nobody else in the store. And since I go there so infrequently, I'm just like wandering around trying to find, I think it was dechlorinator or something dumb like that. It was something just, oh, hey, I got to buy this thing. And, but it was bizarre to me because there was like kids running around taking stuff off the shelves and just a bunch of customers like kind of going crazy. And I was like, does anybody work here? This is like a weird, it's like a weird human zoo. I don't know. It was bizarre. And
I'm always like, I can't even find people at the register half the time.
Right. You just be up there standing like, somebody work these things?
I'm looking around, walking around the whole store. There's nobody. And I'm just like, I guess I'll just leave. Which has happened plenty of times.
Well, Donald says, being serious, though, it's good to see them asking questions before selling the fish.
That is true.
I bought 6 small iridescent sharks. Thankfully, I was able to expand to a 3,000 gallon.
Whoa. Jeez.
But now they are almost 3 feet. Well, man, if you have a 3,000 gallon tank with 3-foot iridescent sharks in it, I'd like to see some action shots of that for sure.
Yeah. It's just there. I think there's a right and a wrong way to do it, though.
Right.
Like, just talking at someone is not good.
Well, I think one of the big things is like, they just shouldn't be selling stuff that outgrows people's tanks. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be selling red tail catfish. You just don't sell that ever, right?
Yeah.
I was like, one day I went in there and they had a bunch of Pictus cat, right? And a bunch of Pictus catfish, which look awesome when they're little, but they get huge. Like, like they grow into monster fish, and it's like they've got like 30 of them swimming around in a little tank, which the average person would go there and be like, oh, wow, these must stay small because there's a whole bunch of them in this little tank, right?
Yeah, it does give that perception.
You know, so it's like common plecos. Like they just should just not sell common plecos to anybody. You know.
Yeah, I got a friend that I don't know what kind she has, but I've seen pictures of her tank, and she's got like 2 or 3 of them in there. I'm like, ooh.
Like this is gonna get rough.
Yeah, I don't know. When it's your friend, I'm like, do I tell you that it's not a good idea? I don't think it would go over very well, but I guess she'll figure it out.
Yeah, when they get big. Which is funny. Like I had a neighbor. Probably 2007, 2006, something like that. I had a neighbor that she came over and she's like, "Hey, you guys like fish tanks? Do you know somebody who could maybe take this fish? It got too big in my tank." And we go over there, and it's like a common pleco that's like, the dang thing's like 2 feet long at this point, you know. And it's just like, no, I don't know anybody. Like I know nobody. Like it's like the unfortunate thing is like you should probably just euthanize that fish because it's crazy to take it back to a store. Because what's the store going to do? They ain't going to be able to sell it to anybody. And your tank, I mean, her tank was like a 55 or something. It's just like, this tank is not big enough, and you're not going to buy a bigger tank to take care of this fish. You know, one of those really unfortunate things, you know?
Yeah, I've seen a massive one in my local fish store that's just sitting there. He's in a big tank, but it's just I don't know who's going to buy that thing.
Right.
Uh-oh. Kevin demands food. My cat.
Oh. How is it living with cats, man? I'm not a cat guy.
Kevin is a cool dude, but he's also he's a strange one, so we get along.
All right.
Of course, I actually just figured out that I'm allergic to cats on Tuesday, apparently, so he's staying, though. You just brush your cat, you know?
They're like, you go to the doctor, and you're like, I don't know. I'm sneezing. I got hives. I'm freaking out over here, doc. What's the deal? And they're like, oh, you're allergic to cats. And you're like, oh.
Nah, it was just in general. I'm like, do I have allergies? And it's like, apparently I have a lot of allergies. All kinds of tree pollen and mold and dust mites, etc.
Oh, did you go do the panel thing? Did you go do the panel?
Yeah, the panel.
I don't want to go get that panel because I don't want to find out if I'm allergic to stuff. I just want to suffer forever.
That's a way to do it.
They're probably going to tell me here's the thing. They would probably tell me something like, "You're allergic to coffee and cheese," and I'll be like, "Well, I guess I got to buy a gun now."
Well, you're allergic to dogs. Never.
Not for me. I'm just going to shoot cheese and coffee with it. That's all. If I can't eat it, I might as well put it down range, right?
That's right. All right. Thanks for the chat. I got to go take care of stuff. I just got home, so.
Okay, you better get out of here.
All right.
Bye,
everyone.
Bye. That was Lady Guinevere, one of the members of the channel. If you remember, you could have called in. You could have called in yourself, and we could have badmouthed Pleco or Petco. Pletco. What do we call it? Do we call it Pletco? Yeah, why not? Jonathan Seymour loves kitties. One of them likes to sit in the morning and watch fish with me. Well, that's probably because your cat's hungry. Yeah, I've never really been a cat guy just because like cats are so independently just kind of doing their own weird thing. Sort of all the time. They're not really happy to see you. They're always just kind of being around. When they poop in a box in the house, I don't like that. I'm not a big fan of that. They do shed a lot. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like personally, for me, I get a lot more from the dog. You know, I love the dogs. I'm a dog guy. I'm a dog and a fish guy. I also kind of like chameleons. Kind of like chameleons and turtles. But I don't have any chameleons or turtles currently. Maybe someday. Who knows? I was looking at a chameleon the other day, and I was like, man, maybe I should get back into the chameleon game. But I didn't, because I was like, I'm not set up for that right now. excuse me, having crazy burps and stuff because I've been drinking a lot of coffee and did not eat lunch today. So, what we're going to do is we're going to give a big shout out to our one new member of the day, which was, hold on, I gotta remember how to say your name right. Regular_guy_1, who's our new member of the day. No super chats to review, and that's it for today. Thank you, Lady Guinevere, for calling in. Love it. We should chat more often. Why not? Because it's fun. I have a good time. Anyhow, I hope everybody is having a fun time out there, and I'm going to go eat some food because I'm hungry. All right.